Good morning.
Good morning.
We are here to give you your exit report. You have completed a couple of years of doing a self-study. We have come in and verified that self-study and made our own observations and drafted a report based on our findings, which you will receive in due course. Donna Wilkinson will explain the timetable. What is going to happen this morning is I'm going to thank certain individuals in the college overall. Then we will read your commendation and recommendations, and different of the team will do that. Then I will turn it over to Donna Wilkinson, who will explain what happens next and so forth. Then Donna will turn it over to your president, who will close the meeting. As soon as that happens, these people will exit that door and you'll never see them again. SACS issues disguises after these meetings, and they're very effective. Let me thank, you know, this was such a broad-based effort. This is how it is supposed to be done, the way you did it. And it is such a broad-based effort that I could run down a very long list of people to thank. So do not be slighted if your name's not on this list, because everybody in here could have been. But these are the people that I, as your chair, ended up working most closely with. And I want to once again thank Sherry Anderson for a marvelous job. Betty Bean, thank you very much for all the logistics. John Krapansky, thank you for getting us here and getting us back and getting them to the airport. And my two new favorites, Jill Knight and Juan McQuaig, we spent the night together last night. And I don't want to say much more than it was a very fruitful meeting. The ground rules are such that we read the recommendations and leave. There's no interaction with you and us once this happens, okay? Let me begin by reading a commendation, and let me say to you that it is fairly rare for an institution to receive a commendation these days. Accomplishments worthy of note at Paducah Community College include the operation of the award-winning Comcast cable channels, the Arts in Focus series, college-produced plays, musicals and art exhibits, the Prime 2000 initiative, academic service learning activities such as the College of Living, the probable creation of the Challenger Learning Center on the PCC campus, and the degree to which PCC faculty volunteer their expertise and time to serve the community. Accordingly, the committee commends PCC for the breadth and quality of its culture and recreational programs and the degree to which they enhance the community. In Section 1, Principles and Philosophy, there are no recommendations. In Section 2, Institutional Purpose, there are no recommendations. In Section 3, Institutional Effectiveness, there are two recommendations which will be read by Dr. Charles Blackledge.
Thank you. Good morning. Both recommendations are in Section 3.3, Institutional Research. The college is in its first full year of implementation of its centralized program of institutional research function, and although the recent survey showed marked improvements, the committee cannot make a complete assessment on the effectiveness of the plan in collecting and analyzing data and disseminating results. The committee therefore recommends that the college demonstrate its effectiveness in collecting and analyzing data and disseminating results. Because complete evaluation information was unavailable as of yet to the committee on the effectiveness of its institutional research function and the use of findings for the improvement of that process, the committee therefore recommends that the college regularly evaluate the effectiveness of its institutional research process and use its findings for the improvement of that process. Thank you.
In Section 4, Educational Program, there will be 4 recommendations, and they will be read by Dr. Oscar Patton.
4.2.4, undergraduate instruction. The faculty agrees that they are supported in their efforts to improve instruction through methodology experimentation. However, the committee found no documentation demonstrating that critical evaluation of that experimentation takes place. Therefore, the committee recommends that the procedures for evaluation of any experimentation with methods to improve instruction be critically evaluated. 4.8.2, academic and professional preparation. The files in the Dean of Academic Affairs office document that all full-time faculty members are in compliance with the 1998 criteria for faculty members. However, the committee was not able to ascertain that all part-time faculty members are in compliance with criteria. Therefore, the committee recommends that faculty members in humanities, fine arts, social behavioral sciences, and natural sciences mathematics have 18 graduate semester hours in the teaching discipline and hold at least a master's degree, or hold a minimum of a master's degree with a major in the teaching discipline. Same area for the most part, the files document academic preparation such as official transcripts, as well as professional and work experience with other qualifications. However, there was no transcript on file for a part-time instructor teaching a business and industry credit course for continuing education. Therefore, the committee recommends that the college keep on file for all full-time and part-time faculty members documentation of academic preparation. The college sometimes employs part-time faculty members to teach in remedial programs who hold only a baccalaureate degree. The committee could not determine that either teaching experience in a discipline related to the teaching assignment or graduate training in remedial education is documented as part of the hiring process. Therefore, the committee recommends that faculty members who teach in remedial programs hold a baccalaureate degree in a discipline related to their teaching assignment and have either teaching experience in a discipline related to their assignment or graduate training in remedial education.
Section 5, Educational Support Services, there are no recommendations. Section 6, Administrative Processes, there are 4 recommendations that will be read by Faye Allen.
Section 6.3.2, Organization for the Administration of Financial Resources. The volume of transactions of a business or financial nature have increased due to a new accounting software system and additional requirements from the changeover from University of Kentucky to the Kentucky Community and Technical College system. There is a need for cross-training, separation of duties, preparation of operational procedures manuals for each position, a plan for process improvement, and possibly additional staff for the college to operate efficiently and handle all business and financial transactions on a timely basis. Recommendation. Therefore, the committee recommends that the institution demonstrate that the organization of the business office is consistent with the purpose of the institution, the size of the institution, and the volume of transactions of a business or financial nature. 6.3.6, Accounting, Reporting, Auditing. There is no internal audit function within Paducah Community College. Recommendation. Therefore, the committee recommends that the institution demonstrate that there is an established procedure to ensure the effectiveness of internal controls. 6.3.9, Cashiering. There is a Paducah Community College cash handling policy and procedure. However, there are a total of 8 areas that collect cash. For proper internal control, cash receiving activities need to be centralized and limited to a few transactions as possible. Recommendation. Therefore, the committee recommends that the college demonstrate that there is a suitable organization and adequate procedures for the management of all funds belonging to the institution. 6.4.1, Space Management. The college's business office and financial aid office are squeezed into the corners of the hall's gym, where basketball, aerobics, and other activities are held during work hours. The location of the offices is not favorable to conducting the duties and responsibilities of these areas and for serving large numbers of students. recommendation. Therefore, the committee recommends that the institution demonstrate that the space allocated to any institutional function is adequate for the effective conduct of that function.
Okay, you have just had 10 recommendations read to you. If you are not familiar with SACS, that is fewer than half that an institution normally gets. In shorthand, you've just taken your final exam and you made an A. Donna Wilkinson will now explain next steps.
Didn't you just do a marvelous job? I mean, that is such great news. 20 to 30 recommendations is average these days. You are way down there at 10. That makes you the third most compliant institution I have ever visited for reaffirmation. Well, it would be nice if it were all over now. I mean, Len leaned over and he whispered in my ear, he said, "I vote in favor of reaffirmation for this institution." And I had to remind him that in December he will not be on the CNR committee that considers this. We have just a few more steps to take. The first step is to finish this report. Now, the chair is taking back with him a full text of this report, but it is not the final version. It needs to be edited. It needs to be checked by your president for factual accuracy. I need to review it to be sure that it is going to meet the needs of the Criteria and Reports Committee in December. So it may be 3 weeks, it may be 4 weeks before you get that final report. Your next step is to build a response to that report. You have 5 months from today. So shortly after the beginning of August, you will be putting your response in the mail to my office. And what you will do is simply address each of these recommendations and what you have done in the interim to pull into compliance. After I get that report, I'm going to send a copy of it out to the chair. And along with a copy of your response, I am going to include a check sheet. And I'm going to ask the chair to indicate his opinion of whether or not the institution has pulled into compliance on the issue that was disturbing the committee, whether or not the institution is working toward compliance but needs additional time to reach compliance, or whether the institution appears to have misunderstood the recommendation and is going down the wrong path. He'll send that evaluation sheet back to me. And in October, I will package up for the Criteria and Reports Committee a copy of this visiting committee's report, a copy of your response to this report, and the evaluation sheet that the chair has prepared. And in December, the Criteria and Reports Committee will look at these documents and will make a decision regarding these last 10 issues. The Criteria and Reports Committee is going to render 3 judgments at this time. The first judgment is reaffirmation, to reaffirm or not. I can tell you now that unless you neglect to send in the response, there's going to be a recommendation of reaffirmation. The second judgment that the Criteria and Reports Committee will render is whether or not there needs to be a follow-up report. So given your response to those 10 recommendations, will the Criteria and Reports Committee see compliance in all 10 instances? I will tell you now that upon first review, 83% of our institutions are asked to do a follow-up report. I challenge you to get into the 17% and to show full compliance by December. Looking at the way you embrace the self-study process, I would not be surprised if you were in that grouping. The third kind of judgment that the Criterion Reports Committee renders is whether or not to put an institution on sanction. Again, I think you would have to neglect to do the response in order to draw a sanction from the Criterion Reports Committee. So I don't think we have to worry about that at this point. If you are asked to do a follow-up report, it will be due 6 or 12 months from the review in December, so that you would be reviewed again in June or in December of '02. An institution actually has 24 months after first review by the Commission in order to pull into compliance on all issues. So should one or two of these 10 items prove to be a little more problematic than they appear to be at this point, you have additional time. So while you may exert some pressure on yourselves to be in that 17% by December, if you're not, there's no great loss to you as an institution because you have those additional 24 months. And surely, given this array of recommendations, 24 months from December is more than enough time for you to comply. So we look forward to good things from Paducah. I understand faculty get off next week. I think that was great timing. The rest of you need to be thinking about the celebration, because there has to be a celebration here to acknowledge this very strong performance. Let me turn the podium over to your president and permit him to have the final word this morning.
Well, you can't say I didn't tell you so. You're as good as we've been saying all along. Congratulations to everybody for what you have done. Thank you to Dr. Gatch, to the committee, to Dr. Wilkinson for not just this wonderful report, but how the committee conducted itself on our campus. It was very professionally done. So many times our folks came by and had very complimentary things to say about the visiting committee, and I thank you for that. I commend all of you, and we, as you know, we have ordered pizza today, what was really going to be a thank you, just because this is over. I told Sherry we can all have pizza and get sick together if this turns out badly this morning, or we can turn it into a celebration, and so we'll get together at noon today. To all of you again, thank you, and to all of you, congratulations, and I think we're adjourned.